It's almost like George here wants to be taken apart. He's like, please, I have served a noble and boring life for 27 years. I need to have some fun. 839 horsepower and 763 pound-feet of torque. Oh, that is doing so good. I messed it up.
Straight all over the floor.
It slipped out of my hand. Oh, I'm very lucky my face was not under that. Today's the day Uncle George build starts. Blueprint 632, 840 horsepower big block is going into 93 Suburban. Call it Uncle George. This is the first build episode of this. We're gonna show you everything. Be prepared to see everything. Have you ever wanted to do something like this? Do you plan on doing something like this? You will learn a lot here. Even if you're not planning on doing it, you're gonna know how to do it by the time we're done with this. So
not even just a Suburban, it's just a 93 truck that you want to shove a big block into.
Yeah, if you like, if you for some reason don't like Suburbans or are prejudiced against them, or you like little squid trucks, just pretend that this part isn't there. The wheelbase is shorter and it's not as cool. I'm kidding. I'm not. I prefer Suburbans, but if you like little trucks, that's all you. We're gonna get to tearing this wallered out thing out of here. This Suburban is a 93. It has 335,000 miles on it. And it was a one-owner truck when I got it. So that was pretty impressive. It's probably the best shape Suburban of this mileage as you will ever see. I paid $1,800 for this thing at the end of 2018 and actually used it for a good bit of driving around since then. Its last trip, the 4L60 took a dump. Yeah, we gotta get some bags. I just noticed this. Look at this super trick radiator hose support.
That's a really big zip tie.
Yeah, these big zip tie with cushion clamp and some other ones. I mean, this thing, whoever had this thing really like cared about it, because it had new plug wires. They're all labeled and stuff, and it has polyurethane sway bar bushings and crap, and it drives really, really nice. It just has like no power. But we're gonna fix that. This Logan's learning about demolition here. Where's it hung up at?
I just started taking it apart. I didn't realize that the fan was like connected to this.
Oh, well, there's still 2 bolts right here. There's one right here, and there's probably there's probably another one on the other side that'll hang you up too. Yeah, I don't know what this is. There's like a door handle in here. Apparently the original owners were doing some home remodeling and forgot that somewhere. We're gonna get some stuff torn apart in here, and then we'll move to the underside and get the drive shaft out, cross member, drain the transmission, if we can, if there's a drain pan there, because we don't want to make a mess. Also, if you want to see the engine we're putting in here on the engine dyno and you haven't already seen the video yet, check out the Blueprint factory tour. That's when we picked up the engine, and they actually like have it on there running. You get to hear it and everything, as well as the road trips with this. You can find them on the Uncle George playlist, where this video and subsequent videos will be found. Did I sound technical enough? Can I start talking like I'm an idiot yet? If you take off the front ones first, it's much easier to manage, because if you take the back one off, the weight of the hood is going to make it want to buckle. Take the front ones out, and the bracket kind of holds it, and then you have to have less time under strain. Also, figure out where you're gonna put the hood before you're holding it, and then you are like, oh my god, where am I gonna put this thing? Okay. Oh yeah. Wow, that makes things a lot easier. You have dirty hands. Yeah. Yeah, one nice thing about working on something where the paint is garbage, you don't have to worry about anything you're doing. We'll put these hood bolts in a bag so we don't lose them. It is a one-owner truck, so it's kind of on the bucket list to maybe find them after it's done. Be like, look what we did to your precious family hauler.
Look what we did to your baby.
Yeah, it would be like the Dad and Uncle Rob reunion, but with people we don't even know. That would be funny. And odds are they suck at driving.
What would be funny is if the dude didn't like it.
Oh yeah, that would be really funny. It's weird, the address where this thing lived was 2 miles from where I lived in Oklahoma. I know you already know that, but these guys don't know that one. I lived in my race trailer in Oklahoma City. It's kind of funny. Okay, now let's get the fan off. Looks like this is nicer than the newer ones because it's got actual bolts on here to get those off. I've never really worked on one of these before, so this is all new to me.
We should like take the hood and make it like a race car hood and hang it on the wall.
That would be cool. That's a good idea. I just need to show you guys something real quick. I said, Logan, do you think you can fit under there without jacking this thing up? Because the lift isn't wired yet. But what the... How in the heck do you do that?
I don't know.
She's literally sitting under there, sitting up to do the drive shaft bolts.
Yep.
I'm so jealous. We don't even need to wire this lift. You can just do everything under here and I'll do everything up top and we'll be good.
And I'm tall too.
Yeah, she's 5'9". And I'm 6'5". The most dreaded part of pulling an engine, disconnecting the rad hose and trying not to get coolant everywhere. I just don't know if there's a good way to do this. If we pull this off up here, it's gonna drip onto that. We're gonna paint that, so it's gonna make it harder to clean. Oh yeah, also we are pulling the body off to paint the frame, but the lift isn't wired up yet. Otherwise we would have pulled the body off with the engine and everything, but we're gonna pull the engine out first because you gotta do what you can, when you can, while you can. Okay, maybe we could do this with some precision. You see what I got going on here now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this might actually work. You wanna make bets?
About?
We're gonna be able to do this without making a mess?
I don't know, you're pretty good at making messes.
Yes, I am.
Much success so far.
I didn't think it would start leaking as soon as I started loosening this. I'm gonna do this wide ways because I know from experience that whenever liquid runs onto something, it goes across it and then drips everywhere. So when we pull this off, it's probably gonna get on the core support and want to drip this way. Do it slowly.
Oh yeah.
Ow. We'll just be patient.
I don't know why you said this was the worst part.
Because this has never, ever in the history of my entire life ever gone this smoothly, and you may very rarely ever hear me say that.
Well, even if it did make a mess, it's not ATF, so it's like, okay.
Okay, so we still have to deal with the ATF part of the mess later.
It's gonna smell right. Oh my god, babe.
Oh, that is doing so good. I messed it up.
Sprayed all over the floor.
It slipped out of my hand.
I don't even know if I got that part. I think the camera was too high up.
Oh well. Well, you want to show the mess that did happen? All the part we got?
Good job.
It's really not that bad in the grand scheme of things.
It just looks like dog pee. Dented this thing, whatever it does.
That thing's useless.
Okay, cool, because I dented it.
That's just some evap canister thing that never gonna get used again. But I did label this because with the big block we have a full out CVF accessory drive, like the whole polished billet awesomeness thing with AC and everything. And we want the factory button on the inside to still work for AC. So as we disconnect things that will need to get reused, label them. There we go. This pancake compressor I don't think is getting reused because I'm pretty sure the CVF has its own shiny cool one. This thing has metric and standard hardware on it, so I don't even know what this is. Oh, that's metric. You can tell because if it has a that one says 10.9, but some of these we're pulling off here have hashes on them, like they're graded. It's freaking ridiculous. Like, look at this here. I was like, oh, this won't come out. That's just stupid. And then I was, oh, there's a flat spot. Okay. Wow.
Well, the one I need, we don't even have. It's missing.
Which one?
The 14.
Oh. I have that. I was using it on this. Look at this. They have a flat spot on here, so you can get it out past this. This is like some stuff that you do when you're building something in your garage. I wouldn't expect this from the factory. It's kind of funny. I figured it was a good time to move that. What happened?
I dropped the socket in the coolant.
Yeah.
And then my watch told me to breathe because my like heart rate went like up because I got all mad.
What did you say when you dropped it though?
When I like screamed.
Yeah.
Ah!
Yeah, we had to fish it out and clean it off so it wasn't all slimy, but it was just funny. I'm like, it's okay, it happens. She's like, no, it's not. No, I don't want to touch it. It comes.
And I was like, oh, Mitchell's mom texted me, and then it's my watch telling me to breathe.
This accessory stuff is so Mickey Mouse, it's ridiculous. Oh man.
Mickey Mouse is cool. This is not cool.
So next day, we're getting back at her here. Logan was a little disappointed because now what needs to be done is like pulling the cross member, dropping the transfer case, all that stuff that's kind of either really heavy or really tight, and kind of like stuff that I have to do because there's not, you know, we don't have the lift's not wired, so got to be on the ground to do it. But I remember that we got to sawzall the exhaust off, and I told her that she could sawzall the exhaust off, and she was like, really? Like, just super excited to get the sawzall out and hack the exhaust off this thing. I think that's pretty cool. Are you ready? Oh, she's making coffee. Coffee first, sawzall second. In the meantime, I'll explain to you some more of the parts that are going to be going on here. This thing is actually Blueprint's dyno mule, like their test rig for the 632 R&D. It has over 500 dyno poles on it, and it still made 839 horsepower and 763 pound-feet of torque. Peak torque is at about 5,400 or so, and it makes 500 foot-pounds at 2,500. That's ridiculous. This thing is going to be a stump puller at 6,100, peaks 839. God, it's got all good forged stuff in it, like ARP head bolts. It's got roller rockers. I showed them in the unboxing video of this thing. But yeah, this thing is a freaking horse, and it's going to be perfect. So that you can know what you're going to see coming in the following episodes of this build series. The transmission, which has overspray on it, is I think a stage 2 or 3 4L80 from Extreme Automatics. That's the only place to get a 4L80 from if you're building a truck with a lot of power. They do the one in the Escalade. The only thing in there that would hold that power, and the only reason it doesn't have a Turbo 400 in it, is because Lonnie convinced me to let him make the 80 work after I toasted 5 of Rossler's best 4L80s. Rossler, don't go to Rossler for a 4L80. Just don't do it. You call Lonnie at Extreme Automatics and you get you something that's going to work for what you're doing. And the transfer case, it's a 241C. It's actually the same thing that is in there already, but that's the 32 spline one that I bought on Facebook Marketplace for like 200 bucks 4 years ago. I actually bought it for the Escalade, then changed my mind. I wanted to use a 260 one because it had the splined front drive shaft, and I saved that one for a rainy day. Rainy day. Transmission control is MSD Atomic. I've never used one of these before. Pretty excited to try it out. So we're using that for that. You ready to get the Sawzall out?
Yeah, but I need my coffee.
Oh, okay. I'm just explaining what parts we're going to be using so everybody knows what the formula is. And this is not a carburetor. It's a Holley Sniper EFI. This is all, you know, everything. This is it. It's like a carburetor, but it's fuel injection. It's all contained right in here. Regular Pro Billet distributor. It's pretty freaking awesome. Everything is contained in there like that. And it's already tuned because we ran this thing on the dyno. Gauges, they're still in the box, but we have a whole drop-in gauge cluster thing made by New Vintage USA. So it'll have analog gauges in here with nice LED backdrop, backlit needle and everything. And it's gonna bolt in right here, right where this thing goes. So it'll look all factory and awesome and perfect. And I'm really, really excited about that. For the exterior of this thing, we have all kinds of awesome stuff from LMC Truck, including a 2-inch cowl hood. We got new trim pieces, a new front bumper with a new trim piece on there, new badges. Basically everything that they make for these things that I thought would be useful, we have in there ready to rock. And we're going to be building some custom headers out of Wolf Aircraft components. We use Wolf Aircraft for every kind of tubing, everything, stainless aluminum, turbo kit on the Escalade. It all comes from Wolf. We got the flanges and all the bare bends to make headers for that thing to fit in here. Pretty sure nobody makes a header to fit a tall deck big block into a half-ton 4-wheel drive K1500 truck. So maybe someone does. I don't know. I don't care. We're making our own. The primaries are like 2 1/4 or something massive. Like, they are going to be big. That's going to be my first ever set of headers for like a naturally aspirated long tube header thing. A third set of headers ever. First one was the Escalade ones. Second ones run Shane McAleary's Vega, which you can go watch a video about. That was like the first video ever put up on YouTube that got like a decent amount of views. And third ones will be these. I gotta knock off some rust. Gotta jack the front up so we can get more room under there because I don't fit. This is getting the crossmember bolts out, and I was just thinking how goofy this is. May need a chunk of wood for this.
I can get you some.
You can never have enough wood laying around.
That's what she said.
Yeah. Holy crossmember.
You still have the glasses on?
What?
Never mind, you have your glasses.
Yeah, I do. This thing's real beefcake. Dang. Look at that stamped monstrosity. You know?
Look at that.
Free.
All the gravel.
We got like Oklahoma rocks in here. Crossmember I made for the Escalade out of chromoly weighs 2 pounds. And this weighs a lot more than that. Maybe we can make a lighter one. Well, it'll also be easier to get the front drive shaft out. I also noticed this thing. You see that for a second? I want to show them something. The transmission shifter is a linkage. It's not a cable. It's weird. It's just a bunch of rods and pivots. Yeah, we're gonna have to probably change this to a cable because those headers we're gonna make are gonna need to come right through here. So, yeah, add one more thing to the list. I think I'm gonna have to bang on this to get it out. You know, it's funny, there are people that mess with this stuff every day. They're gonna watch this and be like, why are you doing it like that? Oh, if you just push on this and pull on that, this comes right off. And I'm just like, man, I'm not one of those people. I don't know. I have to figure it out. This is my first rodeo. That's kind of what the essence of this is. Like, what if somebody did the Escalade, but in the 90s with what they would have used in the 90s to do it, which would have been a giant big block and some nitrous. Oh, I'm very lucky my face was not under that. It just dumped a bunch of dirt. There she blows. We're actually going to reuse this thing, but put new joints in it. Oh. Okay. One less thing. Oh, this frame is a small block Ford. How about that?
That's what I was going to say earlier when I saw the SBF, and then I was like, well, Mitchell will make fun of me if I say it. So.
Well, if you say it to be funny, you'll be like, hey, look at this frame. It's a small block Ford. It says so right here. Hing-a-ding-a-durgan, it's Leif Erikson day. Ah, now we can access all of this gibberish up here. That's a lot of gibberish. Oh, more dirt's falling onto my arm. Fantastic. That's what we love. Dirt. Dirt in your armpits. Keep the guard against what you're cutting. That way the sawzall's not jumping around. Yeah, you keep that pressed into there. Then the blade movement is more efficient. You guys too, remember that. Yeah, you can cut it like here. Actually, the angle I'm at would be good for that because you'll be pushing away from you.
Yeah, I was about to say this feels weird. I don't want it to like hurt me.
So close.
My arms are just tired.
You'll have that.
Oh yeah, it's like already cutting through this end.
Yeah. There you go. Just working on getting some more things disconnected now. We got the transfer case loosened up and I've been letting it drip into the bucket because that always splooges everywhere once you pull that off. There's this little heat sleeve thing for the wires that go to the starter and it's bolted to that bell housing bolt, so I'm probably gonna have to pull that off or cut it or something because I don't want to cut those wires. I think they're still good. Like they're probably still going to be the ones that start the thing because back then these didn't have CAN bus or any of that weird stuff. They were pretty simple. I think we can reuse a lot of that. Also, I thought it was funny, this might be a remanufactured starter or something because you see it has a bunch of dents in it. Like maybe somebody had a problem with this thing and beat it trying to get it to start, ended up changing it anyway. And then they just remanufactured the starter, reused the same case and still had dents in it. I think that's kind of funny. Has that ever happened to any of you? Like you actually got a car to start by beating on the starter with a hammer? Because I have. Good job for me. I forgot to turn the music off, so you get to sit here and listen to me talk now while I do this. Ow. Well, my finger is going to be swollen tomorrow. That's for sure. We'll check back in on that later. But I'm thinking with all the things that are fastened to the bell housing, like that heat shield for the wire, there were 2 bolts held that in. 2 of the bell housing bolts. And then the dipstick is another one. So I'm going to have to take that off. That only leaves 2 more. Or 3 more. Why not just do the 3 converter bolts, drop the transmission on the floor, and then pull the engine out by itself? Normally, it'd be easier to yank it all out as one unit. But here, if I already got half the bolts out, why bother? Because we're going to pick it up. And unless we drain the transmission, which there's no drain plug on there, so that means pulling the pan, getting all the fluid out, and then picking it up so you can pull it up at some extreme angle 16 feet out in the air. Like, why bother with that? We'll drop it here, won't have to pull the pan. It'll be easier to get the engine out. Life goes on. We're in a bit of a precarious situation here. The very last bell housing bolt is making the jack move because we don't have a very great way to jack any of this. So it's probably just gonna fall off the engine whenever that comes out. Yeah, we gotta cut the transmission lines too before that to make sure the dipstick can come out. Which it should come out because I undid the thingy. But it might not. Might break that too, I don't know. All right, so the very last bell housing bolt is out. The transmission is precariously hanging off the back of the engine with the jack on it, which is very weebly. It's not a word.
Weebly.
It's very weebly. And as soon as we lower it, we fully expect it to fall off onto the floor. So it is already blowed up.
Ouch.
Oh yeah, now the transmission destroyer shirt has an inaccurate tally. I didn't think about that.
Oh, that was a long time ago.
It was, but now it's extra vintage because it's not the right number anymore.
Oh yeah, so vintage.
Extra vintage. ADHD. Logan is picking paint because I'm so bored.
Yep.
We could have a paint picking party. Just have a bunch of people come over and pick paint off this thing until it's gray. Then it'll be all good to wrap. Okay, let's drop this thing. Okay. Are you ready?
Yep.
What is with us and dropping transmissions in videos? Like, I think I'm just that bitter that I like to drop them when possible because they've made me so mad.
It's actually really not that bad so far. Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
That was really smooth.
Why is it? Oh, the dipstick is still stuck in there. That helps. I swear, I have had times where I have tried my very, very hardest to be as gentle getting a transmission out as humanly possible, and I still drop it. But now we're trying to drop it, and it's just like, no, I'm gonna cooperate today and go real slow to the ground, even though I'm blown up, and you're never gonna do anything with me again. Let's find out what's still stuck to it over here.
What the fuck?
You gotta be kidding me.
It's
What?
still on the...
It's still on the jack. What the hell? Okay, like, if this isn't a good sign for, you know, the rest of this project, it's almost like George here wants to be taken apart. He's like, please, I have served a noble and boring life for 27 years. I need to have some fun.
Well, maybe it's fitting for Uncle George because of his personality for it to like come down nice and calm.
Yes, literally would. My Uncle George is a real person. He had a white 95 Suburban that my dad test drove. And my dad liked it, so he went and bought one. Which, that was the Suburban that started the whole Suburban genesis, which led to the Escalade and me liking Suburbans. So, while this is not actually my Uncle George's old Suburban, it's a placeholder tribute for the guy who started it all. Because he's been driving Suburban since like 1986. He has not had his butt in anything else since 1986. Like, square body Suburban with a canoe on the roof. I have pictures of it. Uncle George is a real guy, and he's had a Suburban since the 80s. Nothing but Suburbans. So you can bet when we get this thing done, we'll have to make a trip up to Michigan and have the real Uncle George drive this thing, because he's like the most docile guy. He's a dentist, like perfect dentist demeanor. You know what I'm talking about? He's just not the guy who you would think could just rip a fat, nasty burnout in a 632 powered Suburban. But I am fairly confident that he will, and he will like it. So, give you something to look forward to. This is ridiculous.
Are you serious?
It's still on the
It's
jack.
gonna fall though. Please, please, please don't make a mess. I don't want to clean it up.
Okay, I'll get under there and do something about it. It wasn't working anyway. The jack was just getting stuck in the pig mat. Yeah, we're really doing it up here. We're working in a lift with all of the inconvenience and none of the benefits of the lift, because it's in the way. If anybody within a reasonable driving distance to Mooresville, North Carolina wants to wire this thing up for us, send me an email at the email in the description, so we don't have to do this anymore. Otherwise, we'll just have to wait for somebody else to come do it. I think it's pretty safe to say that this 350, the rear main seal is toast, because there's oil everywhere on this bell housing underneath there. It looked like the Escalade, but almost worse in some ways. I knew it wasn't a stock transmission. Look at this. It shifted way too hard to be the original transmission.
Ow!
You okay?
Oh.
Also, anybody want whatever transmission this is, you can have it. We don't need it for anything. Ever. Ever. You ready to pull the engine out now?
Yes.
Fun part, we can put the front end back on the ground. I can't wait to get that thing in there. Like, just to set it in there and just to look at it. It's just gonna be, it's gonna be so fun. I might have to do that sooner rather than later, because if this lift doesn't get wired up soon, we're just gonna have to put it in there, and I'll start on the header process anyway. Said it 20 times during this video, but I'd just like to say congratulations to GM for not doing this stuff anymore. You really got your stuff figured out. I'm proud of you.
I'm proud of you.
Some manufacturers are just stupid. They just build stuff dumb. They just are dumb. They just do dumb things. It's just like, why would you do that? I would recommend anybody who has anything dumb to say about a newer GM truck, work on one of these, and you'll be like, you know what? It's really not that bad. You guys are doing okay.
What?
I can't get it.
Okay, well, what do you want me to do about it?
Get it on there. Your arm can fit through there better than mine.
Take my watch off and you're ruined.
Yeah, maybe you can see it better from under there.
It's off.
Sweet. Might want to stay under there for the other one.
Okay, well, here you go.
Teamwork.
Ah! There's pain. There's under my back and it hurts. Oh, this one's a lot easier.
Really?
Yeah. This one? Yep, got it. Yeah, you're getting it. I got it.
Is it off?
Yeah.
Awesome. You can get out from under there now.
Thank God.
Good job. Ah. I don't know if you were falling or diving.
Both.
We'll call it diving. The only thing I know that's still connected is the starter. We'll be able to get to those bolts once we pick it up some. Thank God for tiny arms. Nice Tecton wrench set. I like these wrenches.
We wouldn't have been able to do it if it wasn't angled on that one.
Really?
Yeah, because it has like this like slight curve,
Mm-hmm.
so like you could get the angle. Not discipline.
Practice good, not discipline. I feel like that should be on a shirt. Not discipline. Okay. Oh no.
Stop it. It's too late now. I don't think it even matters.
Where's it coming out of now? Oh my God. Just, okay, you know what, whatever.
Doesn't matter anymore.
We're just gonna let it happen, okay? Damn it, can't have that.
It's too late.
No, it's never too late.
Is that see-through?
I thought it was 3 days grace. It's never too late. You know, it's funny, the last time we pulled a 350 out, it was a Seether reference. Can you take me higher? No, it's never too late. What other, like early 2000s rock songs could you apply to pulling out an engine? Let's get a comment thread going on this. It should be funny, yeah. I'm really eagerly anticipating your responses, because this is, reading comments is like really fun when you guys get creative like that, so let it rip. Oh, blah, 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 the starter. God, everything's buried behind that stupid manifold. I don't even want to take that off. Undid some cables, or some clamps on the frame to get some more room. Yeah, pulling an engine, you can spend all this time checking and seeing if things are still connected. Or you just start taking it out and things that are still connected make themselves very apparent. What?
I feel like you were that guy from the old handyman show that like hides behind the fence because you were hiding behind this pole and you wanted me to film your face.
Oh.
So like what the f are you supposed to do?
I don't know. Say get your
put it 6 inches from your face.
Say get your face out from behind that pole or leave it there and spare the world.
Cool.
Hey, but the thingy's down there.
Oh, cool.
Because it's never too late.
There's more messes.
It's never too late. 335,000 miles of scuzz right here. It's like that's like ½ inch thick of just crud. This engine is so wallered out I could spin it over by hand, like by grabbing the flex plate, and there's spark plugs in it. You know, you can do that sometimes if there's no spark plugs in it, you can just turn it over, but if I had gloves on and tear my fingers up, I could have gotten the flex plate or like the bell housing. Gotten the convertibles out without using a bar on the front. God, I can't talk today. Told somebody my name wrong on the phone earlier.
That's what I was thinking about.
Is that your new hat?
No, it's your crown.
Oh, it's my new hat.
Yeah.
Yep, that's me. It's my new hat. Got the mechanics tan going on right now.
Where are you gonna put it?
I don't know. Some connectors were kind of glued together because they'd come off, or you could tell where somebody had rewired something like this. I can only imagine all the times this thing had to go in for work over the years, and they kept it going. Well, that does it for this video. Make sure you check out the Uncle George playlist to find the road trip videos of this thing, you know, when it was all put together and all that stuff. They go way back, even a couple years back. Need to order some motor mounts. Get the lift wired up. Not exactly sure what the next build installment of this will be. We'll kind of have to formulate a plan of attack there. But we're glad you're here, because if you guys weren't here, we wouldn't be able to do this stuff. We wouldn't be able to bring it to you. And most importantly, I hope you learned something. I hope you're entertained. I don't want anybody to watch these videos and at the end think, wow, I could have done something better with those 30 minutes. Like, you should have something in your arsenal of knowledge or perspective now that 30 minutes ago you did not have. That's my goal, always. So check out the playlist. If you think that front plate's funny, you can find those at staplesonautoworks.com. And we'll see you in the next one.